Hello, folks. Welcome to the first live episode of Season 7, celebrating 4 years of On the Call. I'm Ozzy Stewart, and I'm very grateful that you've tuned in to this thank you tour of mine, which has been a wonderful, wonderful journey. And it's a journey giving flowers to deserving impactors. I've got to say that this episode is courtesy of New York jewelry designer Vashi Duvatoy. This is her Pea in the Pod collection, and it's a classic that's been around for about 2 decades. And there's the ring, earrings, necklace, Pea in the Pod. She can be found at Duvatoy, VDEVERTEUIL at gmail.com. And I'm going to repeat it. VDEVERTEUIL at gmail.com. On this episode, I am shining light on my good friend, Tamil Robinson. Hey, Tamil.
What's going on, Ozzy? Great to see you again after all of these years.
Yes. The way if you know, guys, you've been following me for a while on my audio, I'm gonna do an excerpt of Tamil's life. We're gonna run that down, and then we're gonna get into the nitty gritty. So Tamil is a father of 5 girls and 2 boys. He's the creator and designer of the AMIAT luxury brand. Born and raised in New Jersey, attended a prestigious performing arts high school in Newark, but it was under the care of instructor Eleta Caldwell that he became a classically trained freehand sketch artist and painter. Also, he has become he's expert in the airbrushing realm. Working for the architectural firm Campos Associates, his eye for perspective and shape was developed, and then through his employment at Concept Office Interiors, which is an interior design firm, he learned 2-dimensional drawings, furniture plans, and an understanding of textiles, all of which birthed his AMIAT luxury handbag collection. Now, later in the fashion industry, Tamil became sought out for his streetwear and served as a freelance designer and consultant on 7th Avenue, New York City. That's where we met. And he built his sports licensing portfolio with high-profile apparel projects like the NFL Pro Bowl All-Star uniforms worn by Tom Brady, Michael Strahan, and other Hall of Famers. He also worked with Reebok's NBA division, where he designed Allen Iverson's I3, it's called?
I3 collection.
I3 sports collection. Now, couldn't hold him down in New York, so he traveled to Europe and other countries like China, where he lived for 2 years, Korea and Japan, which allowed him to experience working closely with fabric mills and cut and sew factories. He's proud to announce the launch of the House of Amiat's luxury pillow-stitched, embroidered, satin-lined, buttery soft, state-of-the-art chic bags. Seen in the UK's May issues of Vanity Fair, Glamour magazine, and dropped in June issue in the Vogue. But it'll also be in July issue and the August issues. He will launch in Milan, Italy, at the LDD showroom in July for the 2024 Spring-Summer collections. And as he phrases, it's a line that gets you from the weekend to a wedding. AMIAT, which stands for All Moods in All Textiles. The unassuming Tamil.
How you doing?
Hi. So we're going to get into some serious questions now.
That was pretty good, Ozzy.
Thank you. First, what I'd like to do is for you to show us a couple of pieces, because by right now, after I described your stuff, people don't want to know and see what you got.
Well, okay. We can do that first.
Yes.
Because you spoke so eloquently about, the past, present, and future, so there's nothing really too much I can say.
Thank you.
But I walked here with this piece here.
Right.
I call this the Bloomin' clutch bag.
Right.
Called it Caroline.
Right.
And it's made out of cow DD.
Okay.
And
let's show it to the camera.
This is pretty much, you can wear it, guys can wear it like this as a a hand pouch.
Yeah.
All the pockets here, it blooms like a flower. So you see all the pockets here open, and they all have separate zipper pocket bags.
Wow.
Like they don't touch. Like you can't stick your hand here and it's
Right.
like all separate pocket bags. This is the quality and craftsmanship here.
Wow.
And then, you know, the satin fill lining here.
Yeah.
And the Geo Pattern.
Right.
And you can put credit cards here, of course.
Right.
You know, flat things.
Right.
And here, this part that opens up here totally gives like real chicness to it, because you can actually pull this over here. And, you know, ladies can carry it like a little purse.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because it's unisex. This is like
Yeah.
a unisex piece. And
Right.
here I have, this is like, this bag is, to me, it's pretty much like small things.
Right.
A small bag, it holds so much. So I have my shades here, glasses here, passport, you know, hand sanitizer. It's really, really deep. So it's almost like
It
it's
holds a
5
lot.
pockets. It holds a lot for a small pouch.
Right.
And this chain extends.
Right. Oh.
So you can extend this chain. And this chain here, as you can see, is the AMIAT logo shape.
Yes,
So it's a
very
custom
cool.
link. Yeah, it's a custom link that's done. All of the molds, all of the trims, all done custom.
Because you even have it, I mean,
Of course.
Oh
This
my
is the
God.
pillow stitch here.
yeah.
And you can see the lining here, of course.
Right.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. So here
That's-
this extends all the way into a crossbody bag.
This.
This chain.
Wow.
Yeah. So it extends.
Oh,
all
that's
the way-
right. So it
yeah,
extends right.
comes all
Got
the way
it.
out.
Got
so
it.
you can extend it into a crossbody, and you can just wear it right over
Wow.
your shoulder. You know, just put it right over you
Wow.
and crossbody the bag.
It's so cool and soft and wow.
Very well made.
The magnets in here hold it down.
Yes.
Okay. So
yes.
this is
You
number
can
one.
stuff it. And here, you know, so I brought just a few things. Like it's
Yes.
more than 20 pieces in the collection.
Right.
And here, I brought this. Here's like a tote.
Yes.
This is called the Andrea tote. And it's in the pillow stitch as well.
Yes.
You see the inset here of the AMIAT logo.
Yes.
Strength and balance.
Yes.
See? So this logo stands for strength and balance. So
Right
just
here,
to
guys. You
inset
see
it.
that?
Yeah.
So cool.
And you know, you can see the craftsmanship in it as well.
Yes.
And it's like, this is the smallest of the size.
right.
So it comes in a medium size, and then I have it in a large size.
Right.
So it's the same style, but it's just in different sizes.
Nice.
And this is just the waterfall effect of the logo. So say for instance, if I want to update this style,
Yeah.
you know, so next year I'm going to have it piped, and then I'll color block it,
Yeah.
you know, or add some faux fur or anything like that.
Right.
They all come with the dust covers. So
Which
yeah,
of course have the AMIAT.
of course,
Of course.
the Geo Pattern.
That's right.
And that dust cover actually fits this backpack.
Nice.
So I just put that. I just put it in here
as a filler.
as a filler.
Cool.
Yeah, just
Very cool.
just to hold it,
Yeah.
you know. And then I have some functional pieces as well.
Yep.
So this backpack here.
Mm-hmm.
So this backpack here is a functional two-piece. So it actually zips off
Wow.
and turns into the fanny pack, and you can just zip it right off from the link here. And that comes in this is 2 pieces.
Oh.
Yeah. So you can put this in the overhead,
Right.
and you can put your personal
Push the
here,
stuff. Right.
and you know, have it on the plane here.
Right.
And it's plenty of room.
Nice.
Opens up, and it has all of your pockets here for your laptops,
Right.
tablets. Plenty pockets here for more space.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Because
it's a lot
when
of
you look
space
at it,
here.
it didn't really seem like there was an opening,
Well,
and then
I
it was
wanted
really
to
nice
keep
and
it clean.
flush.
Yeah, I wanted to keep it clean. I didn't want too many, you know, seams and things like that. So I just wanted to keep this clean, because I could have had a flap over it, like you see on the side.
Yeah.
here.
No. It doesn't
So you
even
have
need
the
it. Yeah.
So you have your magnetic flaps here. This is for
Right.
easy access.
Right.
Just for like your little phone cords or anything like that, or some
Right.
loose change or whatever it may be.
Right.
Plenty of space here. As you can see, I'm pulling out, you know, more bags. These are actual bags.
Woohoo.
And you can see how deep this goes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Holds a lot.
pockets inside. You know, you can put all your valuables here. And inside here is a wallet.
Ooh.
So you have a wristlet wallet as well. It fits right in there.
This is very cool. Nice. I love the lining. I love the AMIAT logoing that's happening here.
I wanted to do something really, really classic, you know, and artistic as well. So you see the geometric pattern here, the Geo Pattern. And you know, I have a whole library. Oh yes, it's lovely. The quality of the leather, it's really, really good.
Yeah.
And you know, these are all artisan made. So this is like really hand craftsmanship that's done. And just so you know, the leather is, you know, is sustainable because they're not slaughtering animals.
That is going to be another question, yes, that I was
Definitely
interested in.
That.
Right.
And I mean, we'll get into that, you know, once we talk. But I just wanted to show you some more pieces.
Yes, please.
Here I have, you can see here, all of them come with the nice dust covers. Just wanted to show you, because I said I had a red bag in here, so I just wanted to show you red. And this is the clutch. This is the barb clutch as well. And you can still see the aesthetic of the AMIAT feel, the Geo Pattern, the lock set here, you know, the lining.
And it has a thing that you could wear it over your shoulders.
Right, you can,
Lovely.
the chain as well.
Lovely.
I wanted to keep the continuity of the collection.
Yes.
Looking really, really together.
Yes.
And just to show you, these are going to get even more upgrades to
it's my season color.
Oh yeah, this is I love this color.
Yes.
It's a really nice piece.
And the touch of white is very cool.
Yes. I wanted to, you know, color block this one so you can, because back in the day I was doing a lot of color blocking,
Yes, I
and the
remember.
whole sports thing. So I wanted to keep the whole thing, and you know, I'm an artist.
Yeah.
So I always try to do something, you know, artistically. But this piece here, before I show you this, I want to show you how I got this, how I came up with that idea. So the whole trend was, this year was weave, you know, like a basket weave. And you know, all of the high-end brands, you know, the other brands, they had a basket weave going, and everything was the plain square weave. So I said, wow, let me try to come up with something. You know, my mentor was always telling me, you know, you're an artist, you can come up with something. It's not hard for you. So I started sketching this weave pattern here.
Right.
So you can see the sketch.
Right.
And I sent it over to the factory, and it's like, they were kind of confused. They were like, what is this? I was like, it's a weave pattern. So they say, well, can you tech it down? You know, can you do the tech pack a little bit more intricate? So I had my daughter actually film me cutting this out. So I actually cut out a paper cutout of this weave pattern.
Right.
So I was like, what am I going to call this? Like, I called the Geo Pattern, the Geo Weave Pattern.
Right.
So anyway, once they got it,
right,
they saw the film, you know, scanned everything, sent it over, and this was like so fast that they worked on this, and it was a really, really intricate design. So now I'm going to actually show you what they came up with.
Right.
Gotta keep this wrapped up.
The pièce de résistance.
Oh yeah. So this bag.
Wow.
Yeah, this bag here is really, really new to the collection. It's the Geo Pattern weave.
Wow.
And you see the handle.
Yes.
Of course. They did it like really perfect, and it's the same design as the solid one we have.
Right.
Nathdale bag, but this is the Nathdale Geo weave pattern.
Okay, guys, I'm ready to go. I think the conversation is over. Jamil, I'm gonna see you.
Yep.
Sometime. Nice.
Yes, definitely.
And this handle, man, is just like.
Yeah, the handle is really, really, you know, I wanted to do something that was artistic, that was sculpted, you know, really, really a positive look, real haute couture.
Right.
You know, haute couture is like, you know, you're an artisan and everything is custom.
Correct.
Nothing generic about what
Correct.
you're doing. So I wanted to.
And if people are going to pay the money, then you have to it has to be.
Yeah. And we're even upgrading these trims. Like all of the trims are getting upgraded as we speak. So I'm having like a lot more bells and whistles to these metal trims.
Nice.
You know, you can see the same metal trim here. This is the same actual metal trim, but it's leather covered.
That's right.
Yeah, it's covered in leather. So
that's
you can have
right,
either
guys.
metal,
Look at this.
Yeah, and you can still
Look
keep
at
the
this.
continuity. So it's camouflaged in the leather, and then you have it in your metal finish, your gold or silver, whatever I'm going to do.
Well, you know, you had to do something for the for the eyes to be on you. Vogue, Vanity Fair, Glamour, Milan coming at you saying we want to do this and want to do it now and get your behind over there now and all of that kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah, they wanted this actual bag exclusive. So at first I was like, I don't know. They thought they wanted a color. Well, can we get in a color? So I said, you know what? It's Milan. You know, it's like the fashion capital of the world. Let's drop in exclusive Milan. So that's what we're going to do.
So thank you very, very, very much for bringing in these wonderful pieces. I could see why Milan is going crazy. Europe is going crazy for you. And one day, hopefully, I'll be able to get one of your pieces. But in the meantime, I want to know, who was the mentor that moved you to do what you're doing now?
His name was Glenn Sr. You know, he died in 2005 of cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So he's no longer with us, but he left me with a lot of knowledge. He wanted, you know, he saw an artistic ability in me, and he wanted to do a high fashion label, like a house. You know, that was always his dream. But he wanted to pretty much live it through me because I had the talent. He had the technical side of it, being a master pattern maker and everything like that. So he really took me under his wing day and night, you know, for years, for many years before he passed, and had me develop these textile patterns, like a whole library full of them. So you just see one here is the Geo Pattern. You know, it's a whole library. So it's basically your paisley, your houndstooth, all your traditional textile names, but they're derived from the DNA of the logo. So like the sweater here that I'm wearing is the houndstooth pattern, and an intarsia knit. And, you know, this is like one of my favorite sweaters that I wear anyway.
It's very cool. Very, very cool.
I like it. It's all tatted up and has that whole nice look that they're wearing now on the runway, all worn and everything like that. So, and this is almost 20 years old.
Really?
Yes. So it's like,
wow.
Like, you know, a lot of people always say I'm always ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
And I wanted it like this. And this is before they were doing rolled sleeves and, you know.
Yeah, no,
this, you know.
It's very now.
It's very
now. Even the colors are very cool.
Very now. Yep.
So I've heard that you have done like, just as you've put your logo on everything, you've done even shoe eyelets.
Yes.
And sequins.
Yes.
Sequins.
Actual sequins.
Actual sequins that are
die cut into the logo and sewn and hand sewn onto the dress. Because I did that on a women's dress.
Right.
And that's the definition and the separation of an haute couture designer.
Right.
Every detail has to be specifically from the house.
Right.
Can't be something you go out and get from, you know, the fabric store or, you know, a trim shop or something like that. And, you know, it has to be like the chain here you see.
Right.
You know, when we first made that sample, it had a regular chain on it. And, you know, a buyer's going to look at that and say, well, why should I carry it? What's the difference? I'm already carrying X. So why would what makes this so different? So all of the different trims, you know, all the nuances here, the pillow stitch embroidery of the Geo pattern ties back into the chain, ties back into the Geo weave pattern, and even the silk, you know, the lining that you see.
Your attention, your eye for detail has always been like that since I know you, and we go back 25, 27 years, something like that.
About, almost 30.
Question for you. A long time. With that was with your, was it your TCA? Yes.
It's Mills Creative Art. Yeah, that's how all this started.
Yes.
Airbrushing on the clothes, you know, the jackets, the jeans, and then it evolved into when the whole urban things came out.
Right.
The streetwear, that's how I got, you know, evolved into that.
But the other part of you was, and I completely forgot to bring, there were a couple of pictures you allowed when I had my showroom, it was all new. You allowed me to have your huge painting with Sammy Davis.
Yes.
Every time people come into the showroom, they'd sit down and just look at it for a minute. If I had to have somebody wait, they didn't mind because it was that and was another one that was a blue, I don't know how you experience, like a thinker without a face, a lady sitting with her leg, with one leg across the other.
Oh, I remember that one. It's an abstract.
Abstract. Yeah. Gorgeous. Yeah. Made you think.
Yeah.
Made you think.
Yeah.
Question for you. What was important? Why was it important for you to actually live for 2 years in China?
Oh, because I already had the talent, and I wanted to take my mentor because I was going back and forth anyway, whether it was, for another company or, something I wanted to do. And I started to get a little diluted into the business of fashion and how things work behind the scenes. That's why I had to come up with the different trims and things like that. I just wanted to learn the business side of it. So I had to go over there and stay over there to go to the fabric mills, seeing the silkworms.
But why not Korea? Why not Japan? Why China?
Oh, well, I mean, that was pretty much like, was introduced to me first.
Got it.
And I was more comfortable there because I knew how to get around, so to speak. And they had so many different factories and different places in Guangzhou and Hong Kong, and Shanghai.
And they could get things done fast.
Well, not fast. It's just that they were on top of every little detail. If you wanted to get something made, you can go to these different places and get it made. And I was right there at the actual factory, at the actual fabric mill, where everything started from the yarn. It wasn't even fabric. It was just the yarns, and it was lab dips, and it was all the different chemistries of building the factory. Building the fabric.
Right.
From out of the fabric mill. Then you go to the trim factory. Then you go to the cut and sew. So everything was gray goods, like the denim that I'm wearing. Like, this is all gray goods cotton at first. And, I was able to control my own warp and weft and dye and, all of the different washes and things like that. Yeah, it's really, really good to see that and good to know that and be around it. A lot of the young people now, everything is shake and bake.
Right.
And the essence of doing something like this at this level, there's no way around it. So it's hard to fathom.
And that's a whole other conversation. Of all the countries that you've visited, what is your favorite and why?
What country that I've visited and my favorite? Yeah. I'm gonna still have to say Shenzhen, because I actually lived there, and then I can get in a plane and fly to the different places, whether I go to Beijing or wherever it was, and it was comfortable for me. I grew up with Chinese people here in America, so it was really not much of a difference growing up, living over there.
Right.
Even though I've been to Japan and I've been to Seoul, Korea, and those different places like that, and that, I would have lived there too, but I just think more of my contacts and all of the way I was doing things was all rooted, into China before I left out.
How do you feel the industry has changed? Because it has.
Yeah, it definitely has.
How is it?
I mean, you know what I'm gonna say, and someone else asked me that question. It hasn't changed. It kind of like it's added on different things, like your fast fashion. But fast fashion was to me was evolved from like streetwear, because we were doing that fast. Whether it was taking it to an embroidery to get it done, because we didn't really actually cut and sew the plate. We got blanks.
Right. Yeah.
So it's fast fashion. So that's basically what it's changed, and it went to basically like you order it on your phone and you got it like the next day. It's fast fashion, but they're just making it in in volume pieces.
Right.
Doesn't mean that it's quality.
Correct.
In there. So
Correct.
You got to watch out for that as well.
I
So
tried
it's
a couple of those fast fashions and it never worked out.
Yeah, the fits you got to worry about.
Has
everything.
the change? How has it affected your business? Because you're doing something at a different level.
It really does. It really doesn't affect me because I'm developing original things, and as opposed to generic things. So if I was into the generic side of the business, then I would have to actually be partnered with a factory and his brother's factory, because they make, some guys denim, and then you have the cotton, and you have different things. So you would have to have a conglomerate to really pull that off, like these new fast fashion brands pull it off. So it doesn't really affect me because I'm doing more of a designer brand, Pret-a-Porter.
That said, what is the feeling you want people to have when they wear your clothing, whether it's your clothing or accessories?
For
What's
one,
the feel?
well, for one, I want to feel like, you know, you're getting something from a true artist. And, you know, though that's far and few in between. You know, you have your graphic artist and then you have your true artist. You know, graphic artists, pretty much, you can actually learn that pretty much on computers and, you know, different programs. But a true artist, a painter, you know, I get to mix my colors. I get to actual, you know, sketch, you know, build it, you know, tech it out and everything. So, you know, you're getting something designer made. It's almost, you know, exclusive. So it's pretty much coming from the artist himself or herself.
And they're almost like one of a kind.
Just about, because I haven't, you know, I don't want to saturate too many things, even though I can sell something globally, but it won't be as much. You know, maybe do one of 100 or something like that, and
Limited
100 pieces, you know, throughout the world. It's nothing. You know, and, you know,
that's what primarily haute couture is about.
It pretty much. Pretty
That's
much.
where you fit in. At this point in your life, what more would you like to achieve? You're doing what you're doing now, but where else do you see yourself going? What would you want to achieve?
You know, I think globalization per each continent, that we would have an AMIAT office. So we're employing people here in America. We're employing people, you know, in India or in, you know, Milan or wherever it may be. So I think a globalization of the brand coming from what it started, that's like a nice goal to reach.
What has been the biggest challenge that you've experienced in your professional?
That's easy. It's always finances. It's always that. Because I tell everybody I can design faster than the money goes. I can any investor or anybody would come, they cannot keep up with, like, having AMIAT as a fashion house. You're talking about a whole lifestyle. So you're not just talking bags. You're talking footwear, you know, apparel, home decor, automotive. You know,
when you say automotive, what do you mean automotive?
Automotive, like you can get this whole pillow stitch like in your seats.
Oh, wow.
In your car seat. So we're working on something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, right now as we speak. You know, so you can get, that's, you know, if you're doing a house like that, you got to be able to accommodate that person of that lifestyle. So if I want to design, if you want this pillow stitch in your boat, in your yacht, design, because I have the interior design background, that's it's all couture.
So when you say home designs, you're talking about bed sheets and...
Of course.
Wow, okay.
Because the textile patterns warrant that. You know, I have a whole library. So from florals to polka dots to plaids to flame stitch and on and on and on and on. And, you know, all the geometrics like the Geo Pattern, you know, that's your rugs, you know, that's your bed sheets, that's your satin pillow sets, and, you know, the leather pillow stitch, throw pillows. So
satin pillow sets are good, you know, the ladies need that for their hair, you know. Helps the hair. What do you draw on for inspiration?
For inspiration?
Yeah. What do you do? Draw on?
I
know you have these wonderful children. You know, when you're sitting down behind, you know, in your sketch room, I don't know how you work, but your office.
Yeah.
What inspires you?
I just, you know, the true artist side, that inspires me, because I always think back to how I started.
Are there movies, or are there types of movies, or are there, you know, things that you see that you pull from or feel
I watch a lot
to?
of black and white.
Me too.
Yeah, I go to the Turner Classics and I can watch something from the 1930s and 40s. And
why?
Because they do have that aesthetic. They have that Hollywood iconic aesthetic that's global. Like, you can see a dress, you can see, you know, the way the guy's jacket is cut and everything like that. And my mentor, he was very keen and he was really, really good at cutting patterns the right way they fit. You know, I should have wore one of the blazers here, but, you know.
It's okay.
I just wanted to be a little comfortable.
Yeah, this piece is like, what is the joy? What is the joy you have of what you do in your career? What is that joy?
Just getting to a final piece. You know, the process. because after after I'm done sketching, that's the fun part. That's the joy, and coloring, and then getting it to a 2-dimensional or almost a 3-dimensional, like I showed you the cutout. That's the joyous part, because like there's nobody bothering me.
Right.
There's no, the creative side is just flowing. There's no, the factories, oh, you're giving me a headache and we can't make this happen, and we don't have this color, and because I do mix a lot of paints.
Right.
So instead of going into a Pantone book, where you would normally go in, I try to create something a little bit more. So I'll mix some colors, maybe watercolors or some gouache paint or something like that, and try to give them something close to a Pantone number.
Right.
But
but in doing so, that the factory has to come up with.
That's like they got to do lab dips now. Is this the right one? Is this the right one? So that's. But I do enjoy it because it challenges me, it challenges them, and we're giving them something new. Right. Right. You have to offer the buyer or the consumer something like, that, wow, I like the way that's curved. I like the handle, I like the way they cut this weave pattern out. This basket weave doesn't look like anybody else's basket weave. It's totally different.
So what do you advocate for?
Wow. I mean, self-motivation,
I know you've been doing some things with students.
Yes. I'm always mentoring students and speaking, at the schools or whatever. Because they would allow me
there's
to.
some awards that that happened in your name. Tell me about that.
That's FIT. I did a couple runway shows, and the students didn't have a show to go to at the time. So I told Phyllis, she's like, she was like my little guardian angel. She was tied to FIT, and she said, hey, some of the students want to come to a runway show during Fashion Week. Can they come over? I said, yeah, sure, bring them over. She said, well, they need a list. I said, no, just have them come. It was like 40 or 50 of them. And they didn't know who I was, nothing. They just came, they just wanted to go to a Fashion Week show. So, you can't go to the big ones unless you have an invite. Right. So they came to mine. It was still right across from Penn Station. At the hotel was 600, 700 people there. It was really nice. They came, standing room only. And right after the show, they spoke to a professor there. And she said, wow, the students are asking about Tamil. Can he come and speak to them? And that's how that started. Nice. So they had me come in and be, a critic and critique the students and things like that. And then the winner of that semester would win an award, and they put the award in my name, Tamil Robinson. So I think that's like 3 times. Right. The first one was, it's funny because the first student that won was from Milan.
Wow.
Yeah. And this was 2017 or 16 or something like that. So you're talking years ago. And now a seed was planted. And now I'm going to be in a showroom in Milan. Yeah. That student still keeps in touch with me. So
really?
I'm definitely going to, yeah, of course. She just had a birthday. So I wished her happy birthday and everything. So I'm definitely going to let her know.
What are you most grateful for in your profession and in your personal life?
Wow. For my profession, the ability to be free at whatever I want to do. I'm grateful for that. That's like a God-given thing, because some people, would be afraid to try to do something like this on their own for so many years, decades of building, and they would quit, So I'm really grateful for that. I didn't quit because this could have went a whole different way. Trust and believe, though. I would, if it was a lot of times I thought about, what, I'm going to just go here at this company and, I can stick it. But that wasn't cut out in the cards for me. Right. Because I would have still been there. Right. It wasn't that I didn't have the talent or didn't have the know-how. Right. Or wasn't able to travel and things like that because they know all of my abilities. Right. But it just was not cut out in the cards for me. So it was always cut out for me to do this. Right. That was the path. And then, having a family,
big family, man.
Yeah, it's huge.
Doing all of it with a
it's
family.
huge.
It's like,
and I'm like the chaperone at everything. But I bring them with me though, so they can experience.
Important.
This. Yeah.
Really important.
I mean, a good friend of mine, Richard Williams, he always told me, because I always ask him, Mr. Williams, how
Wait a minute, Mr. Richard Williams from Serena and
Venus and Serena's dad. Yeah, we've been friends a long time. So I always ask him a question. I don't ask him anymore because he told me, but you got to bring them up from like knee high. So my girls, they paint, draw. One is athletic, but they have artistic abilities for me. So they do a lot.
Right.
They take pictures.
Right.
They come style. They help me, but behind the scenes and Fashion Week and stuff like that. Right. So, they're getting real experience from as a child.
Right.
So I think that's the best part too. And then when you teach a child something like that over and over and over, it's gonna stick with them no matter what.
Correct. So now, in that you have spoken about your child and the one who is a gymnast, right? What you said, she's now a state champion.
Yes.
And you're like, how you have these, and you're the one who chaperone her around.
Yes.
So on top of all of that, I know there's some scouting that has been happening and all that.
Yes.
Wow.
It's that's a whole other curveball that was thrown at me because I didn't see that coming. I didn't know, like it's a lot. It's time consuming. Like you have to really be there. So I got to bring my work with me, because a parent has to be there, So, and with all that has happened behind the scenes with the gymnasts and everything, scandals and different things like that, you have to be there.
Yeah.
It wasn't as free, as like before. Like sometimes you can't even come into the gym. You have to really, but you have to be there. So
we look at that. We see some of the medals.
Yeah.
And there was one that
first place here.
Yes.
And
there's this one, the height. Yes. Look at the height on that young
Coach
lady.
John, that's her coach.
I mean, that is some feet above that beam.
Yeah.
Just the idea of landing on that thing alone.
And she lands back on it.
Dude, and so she's heading towards the Olympics.
That's her goal. That's her goal. That's their goal to try to train her. And of course, she's still young, so you have to train her mind. She has to really be focused. So she still wants to be a kid. So that's why I always go back to Mr. Williams and get some advice.
Yeah.
He's 2 world champions. He raised. Yeah. So with that,
and he was always with them too.
Always with them.
Right.
So she's always with me. She's stuck to the hip.
Yeah. No, that's a good thing. You're it's amazing what, looking back at the 30-odd years that we've known each other and how we've known each other and seeing you where you are. I mean, now you're in Vanity Fair and you're haute couture. You're not just, doing the regular stuff. And for a black man to be haute couture is no simple or regular thing.
Yes,
I am so can I say so proud of you, for what you've been doing. I mean, you're in this, look at that. Miley Cyrus is on the cover. Holy smoke.
Yeah. That's our first Vogue issue that we've been in. That's the AMIAT brand that's been featured in on the designer's profile.
Wow. And then you're going to be in the other 2 months.
Yes.
And
for July. And,
wow. Look at
I don't know who's on the cover, but.
Right.
But
to be in it.
But this was a nice Hail Mary right
That's
here.
Right. That's right.
She's global.
And then your logo is in here.
Yes.
Look at that. Stunning.
Yes.
Stunning. You've come in all the way from Philadelphia too. And I say all the way for you. It's like, it's just for me, it's all the way. Atlantic City is like, all the way, right?
Yeah. I'm in the mountain. I'm on the other side. I'm 2 hours from Philly. Yeah. And I'm still in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. You see what I mean?
I'm from Newark, New Jersey, though. Don't get it wrong. Yeah. I'm from Newark, New Jersey. No.
But to take take the time to come in and sort of be the first to show, your wonderful designs here, and to take that journey in. I really, 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 really appreciate it.
Oh,
really
no, I had to
appreciate it.
be here. This is,
Really
you know, we go back, you know, and I've always, with interviews or talks, or I've always do a past, present, future thing.
Yeah.
So sometimes you got to come back to the past and, you know, talk about, you know, the present, and then, you know, talk during the present.
Yes.
And then talk about the future.
Yes.
You know, a lot of people always say, well, Tamil, that's like, you know, you going backwards. No, you're
History
pretty
is
much
important.
history is important.
Important.
Very, very important.
One of the things people are trying to do away with, but it's important.
Yeah, no, because we have to still know that we're still alive.
Right.
You know, pass information on.
Right.
You know, a lot of people can't fathom what I do.
Right.
Like from my hometown,
Right.
you know, Newark, like that's very hard to fathom. Even though they have a performing arts school, even though they have, you know, different things that, you know, it's there, but it's still hard to fathom what we're doing here at that level.
It always reminds me that, you know, like, I'm going to pull a Jesus moment here. You know, it's always hard when you have to deal with your hometown.
Well, not just the hometown. Well, it's I say hometown, but I mean inner city Black America. It's hard to fathom that, because even though you still see stylists, you still see designers, and you still see brands and things like that, it's still hard to fathom at this level and where I'm going at it on the expertise side and the haute couture side.
Right.
It's hard to fathom that. Now, if I sat and said, I'm going to put out a rap album, they can fathom that.
That's right.
Or like my daughter, she's going to be, you know, they can fathom that.
Right.
They can fathom the next LeBron or the next Jordan.
Right.
Or the next, you can fathom that coming from the inner city. But this here,
right,
very, very far and rare.
Right.
And it's been some who've done it.
Right.
But not at this level.
Correct. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, not at this level here.
Where you are I am so proud of you, and I really appreciate you coming in, and I want to thank you very much for coming in. And I want to thank my sponsor, Vashti Devatoy, and to my audience also, I want to thank you for spending your valuable time with us today, and please care to share. And remember, when you're on your beat, stay on the sunny side of the street, like I always say. Be health conscious and kind to one another. And don't forget to give thanks for the little and big gifts. Tamil, thank you for making the trip in and bring all this luxurious stuff. It has my mouth watering.
Just a few pieces. These are,
I know.
These are key pieces.
I know.
I definitely wanted to show you the exclusive piece, because, you know, they
hasn't been seen.
I'm
the first. Yay!
Yeah.
But thank you very, very much.
No problem, Ozzy.
Love you, man. Really, really, really love you.
Love you too, Ozzy.
Ah.